Hi, I am Hannibal Chang, and in this video I will be talking about how my interest in cars started and what has brought me deeper into this fascinating world of cars. My interest in cars actually started when I was really young. I would say about like 7 or 8 years old. When my parents were driving, I would always just look outside and basically, uh, I would say like convertible top sports cars, coupes. Um, I would always be just really fond of them, and I would tell my mom or my dad, whoever was driving, to speed up and catch up to them. At that time, not knowing that if they crossed the speed limit or went above it, that they would potentially be in trouble if the cops saw them. But yeah, basically from like starting from 7 to I guess like 9 years old, I was just um, it was just like that for a while until when I started going back to Taiwan, and that is actually where I guess I should say my starting point, um, because my interest of cars actually started from riding in my uncle's car. He owns a JDM car, Honda Civic. Not quite sure what model it is, and I've never seen it when it was all stock form. From when I saw it, or from when I uh, had it in memory for the first time, it was completely already just non-stock. Like nothing was stock on his car. Only the car body was. I think the the doors were switched out. The hood, he changed it to a carbon fiber hood, and he got lower suspension and basically the entire engine compartment, the entire like all the stuff underneath the hood was changed. So like I said, nothing was stock, and I only got to go back to Taiwan at most 3 or 2 times a year. So whenever I went back with my mom or my dad, I would always ask him for rides on his Civic because it was just totally awesome. So yeah, that's how it started for me, and then just a few years back, maybe like 2 years or so, um, or no, prior to that, like I would say like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I went to Great America because someone or some company was hosting this auto show, and you basically people basically get to test drive cars. Like I remember there was Ford, there was Hummer, there was Corvettes. The best the I think the best part of that about that auto show was um, that when people got to test drive the Corvette on the long stretch of road, they actually got to floor the car. So from like a long distance away, I can just hear the Corvette engine just revving it up to really high RPMs. And the sad thing was they weren't stick shift. They were all automatics. But yeah, I just heard them revving up the engine on the long strip, and then at the very end, right before the turn, they would just slam on the brakes, so you would hear the tires screech as they prior to them going to the turn. But other than that, I was really excited because I got to go on no, not Corvette. I got to go on the Hummer, and I got to go on some other cars which I can't think of in mind right now because at that time I was still really young, so my memory at the time was not. Well, I can't say that my memory at the time was not good, considering um, everyone's memory is good, but since I was really young, yeah, I can't remember the concrete details, but then several years back, like maybe like a year or two back, there's this one night where I was in Taiwan, and my uncle was just basically driving around, and I think he just picked us up from the airport, and it was nighttime when we got there, and it was only me and my sister, and he knows that if my mom were to come along, then she would not allow him basically to go fast. But then that night it was just me, my sister, and him in the car. I was in the passenger seat. My sister was in the back seats, and he just stopped in this alleyway and well, side street basically, and I was surprised because this side street was like a really long stretch of road. So then he turned into that road, but then there was a cop on the there's a cop perpendicular to the one end of the road. So he first started out as like under the speed limit, as like I'm thinking like converting from their speed limit, it might have been 25 here or 25 there. So he drove forward for about like 1,000 feet or so, and then afterwards he just totally stopped, and then he was like, when I floored the car up to red line or past the red line, the window suction cup mount actually flies out the window. And what he meant by that was he has a GPS that he mounts on his car, and from the inside, one time he was just basically racing with his friend, and the whole thing just the suction cup became detached from the window, just flew backwards. So that I told him that I didn't believe it. So he was like, "Okay, then I'll prove it to you." So then, as he was starting, he revved up the engine to, I'm saying, about like 2,000 RPMs or so, and basically it amazed me because he actually floored it to around 9,300 RPMs, which is way past red line. I mean, I think it was a either B18 or B16, the red engine. You know, for like especially for redlining. So all he did was he shifted from first to second gear, and I just see that thing just fly off the window and at the back seat. And then from that time on, I was just amazed by how much power his car had. So when we got back to his house, he showed me. He opened up the hood because he wanted to cool down the car's engine. So he opened up the hood and like tried to tell me all of this stuff about his car. But at that time, I didn't know anything about cars. I mean, all I just know is that like cars are cruel. Like I didn't even know engine stuff. I didn't know like pistons, chassis, air intake, any of that stuff. So he just told me that the one special thing about his car is the red engine, which at that time, like I said, I had no idea like what that meant. So I just told him like I didn't know like what that meant, and he was like, "Well, you'll learn from in the future." I didn't start officially driving stick shift until August of last year. It was during the summer that I got this car. Very end of summer. I would say like probably 3 weeks before school started. But I didn't learn how to drive stick shift until a year and a half to 2 years ago. And I was actually forced into driving stick shift. At the time, I didn't want to learn how to drive stick shift, and I preferred automatic, but it was my mom who forced me to learn how to drive stick shift, because if I ever went back to Taiwan, then I could maybe get a chance to drive my uncle's car, which has not happened yet. And afterwards, when I started driving this car, I realized why I wanted to drive stick shift than to drive an automatic, because I found out that it was a lot more entertaining, and that my interest into cars would go on deeper as I learned more about stick shift cars.